On this island is a Martello tower, one of the finest examples in the world. The walls are 3.5 meters thick at the base. It was a very pleasant trip, especially as we were informed of items of interest as we went along. Another evening was spent at a restaurant called the Old Spaghetti Factory. There was a bust of the founder, together with a spaghetti tree growing spaghetti. There were Victorian items of interest, old brasses, cupboards, and an old-fashioned tram. The meal was excellent. Canberra was lovely, with its huge boulevards, avenues, and formal gardens. The hills surrounding the city are planted with exotic trees. There was Government House with its splendid approach, Parliament House, and the Australian War Memorial. The latter is the country's dedication with 110%. On this island is a Martello tower, one of the finest examples in the world. The walls are 3.5 meters thick at the base. It was a very pleasant trip, especially as we were informed of items of interest as we went along. Another evening was spent at a restaurant called the Old Spaghetti Factory. There was a bust of the founder, together with a spaghetti tree growing spaghetti. There were Victorian items of interest, old brasses, cupboards, and an old-fashioned tram. The meal was excellent. Canberra was lovely, with its huge boulevards, avenues, and formal gardens. The hills surrounding the city are planted with exotic trees. There was Government House with its splendid approach, Parliament House, and the Australian War Memorial. The latter is the country's dedication with 110,000 Australians, men and women, who died in 9 wars over the last 120 years. My friends asked me to stand by a bridge for a photo, and while I was walking there, a man stopped me and said, "Are you a visitor?" "Well, yes," I said. He then proceeded to tell me that his uncle had sculpted a bronze figure in the memorial. My friends, wondering what was going on, patiently waited until I was able to make an excuse. The main entrance to the memorial leads to the colonnaded King's Hall, and one of the most interesting exhibits is a copy of the Magna Carta in its 1297 version. From Sydney I went to Melbourne for 2 or 3 days, and here I found the weather rather chill and had to borrow a cardigan. My friend here took me to the zoological gardens, and for the first time I saw a koala bear. As we walked along a path, there were penguins in the water on one side, and on the other side kangaroos all lying down. I whistled in an endeavour to arouse them to stand up, so that I could see the babies snuggled in mother's pouch. The kangaroos remained lying down. "Look," said my friend, and I saw that I had alerted the penguins from the water, and they were now on the path, walking in a line behind me. Melbourne is a gracious city with splendid parks and gardens. Once a year the Moomba is held, supposedly Aboriginal, for let's get together and have fun. There are open-air concerts, dancing, water skiing on the river, and parades in the streets. It is held at the end of February and beginning of March. One cannot speak of Australia without some mention of the Aborigines. They lived in the country thousands of years before the white man came. Their ancestors came to the country from Asia, but they do not look like other Asians. They have a unique shape of head and features. Theirs is a wide face with a wide, flat nose, deep-set eyes to protect them from the sun, bushy eyebrows, and a strong, protruding jaw. The skin is dark brown, but there are mixed bloods with skin varying in shade from a deep tan to almost white. Their goods are wooden spears, boomerangs, stone axes, and sticks for making fires. They wore no clothes, and the dog was their domestic animal. The newly arrived white man did not understand the Aborigines, and the latter did not struggle for the land. Eventually, most of them became wards of state, and were fed, clothed, and housed. Only a few continued in their old primitive way of living. However, now they are being assisted in their economic and social life, and they are now fully fledged Australian citizens. They had no written language, and their laws and law were passed on by word of mouth. Some of them have become artists. I went from there right across the desert to Perth, said to be Australia's sunniest city. I was taken to Kings Park in the centre of Perth, which is 1,000 acres of natural bushland. Here I saw a huge log called the giant carry log lying on the ground. It is about 40 yards long and was brought from the southwest of the state where the carry trees grow. Some trees are so large that a car could be parked in the trunk. Perth is situated on the Swan River, its two parts linked by the graceful and slender Narrows Bridge. Fremantle is a port, and is busy with the state's exports of wheat, products of sheep country and orchard, and also light and heavy industry. My time came to an end too quickly, and apart from the joy of meeting old friends, I had met other Australians, and I took back with me memories of a warm-hearted people.